Okay, I'll take the down this. Hi, everybody. How is everybody doing? Welcome to Transguru. So this time we are doing YouTube for the first time. We used to do that in Facebook. Okay, I'll take the down this. Hi, everybody. How is everybody doing? Welcome to Transgurus. This time we are doing YouTube in. Okay, so it is coming in YouTube now. Okay, I'm sorry, it's my fault.
Should we just start all over and delete that one?
No, let's carry on. It's all right.
Okay.
So this time we're going to do it in YouTube for the first time. We're starting to get acquainted with everything. We used to do that. We've been doing these shows for the past 3 years in Facebook.
Over 3 years.
Over 3 years, yeah. But with the politics of Facebook, I think that we are better off starting again in YouTube. We will put a copy of it in Facebook. So if the people of Facebook, we've got 50,000 people following us in Facebook, so that they still see a copy, but we are going to be more active in YouTube now, okay? So what we usually do here is that we've got different transgurus. Sometimes we are less, sometimes we are more people coming, and we talk about a theme, usually a theme. Since all 4 of us actually live in Florida, I think that the best theme right now is to talk about what's going on here. It's not always a very nice what's going on. So who would like to start? Lucas, would you like to start this time?
Sure. I mean, it's actually a relative topic. Today was my last day at work. I resigned.
Okay.
And I did that because for a number of reasons that have nothing to do with the laws, but a few reasons that do. I straight up told my principal, I said, I no longer feel safe working in the school system in Florida. People know that I'm transgender and it's just not safe. I know of a few guys that are starting to have trouble accessing their HRT. They go through nurse practitioners. And I know that right now nurse practitioners no longer can provide gender affirming care even to adults. It's egregious what's happening.
Yeah, I know. The new laws are a little bit confusing and complicated. I mean, I do have actually a doctor. I don't know if you've experienced any kind of information, Bonnie, because you've got the same doctor. But until now, it's more or less okay. So we'll see.
The new plan is coming for trans adults, though. The first wave of it started. The second wave is coming.
I know. It's next year.
Yeah.
I was very scared about the bathroom bill because the bathroom bill is a big issue. But what I've seen, it's only on public buildings and state buildings and prisons and stuff like that. So I thought in the beginning, because I'm flying on Sunday, I was thought, oh my God, the airports are included as well. But now I found out that airports are not included. So it's still okay. So we'll see what happens. So we haven't seen Bonnie for a while. She's been out a couple of times. Bonnie, what's going on with you? Let us know.
Well, I've been going through some hard times, not to get too much in it, but my son passed away about almost 8 weeks ago. So that's been real hard. And I have a grandson that I've been taking care of, which has been a godsend through hard times. As far as I haven't been on top of things as much as I have because I've been out of it, but what's going on in Florida, the reality of it is we may all have to move. I mean, what I'm saying is I'm a little blown away. I mean, it doesn't stop. And the thing that is so frustrating to me is that this isn't the Twilight Zone. This is real. This is tangible. This is happening, and people around us don't have a clue. And all this stuff, they think they're doing good for all the children that are getting surgeries at the age of 5 and 6 years old and being pumped in hormones because their parents wanted a different gender child, and they're forcing it down their throat, making them change. And the media, who they trans gurus, they cut our page back from 3 million viewers every 28 days down to 100,000 because we're trans. And what I'm saying is, society is attacking us on such a level that, you know, this is kind of mind-boggling. And I might be a little over the top and overwhelmed, only because I've been overwhelmed. But my point is that this is something to be overwhelmed about. I have a lot of friends, they just don't get it. You know, one of the bills they passed, that they can take your child away if you support them for being transgender. But when I was listening to the news, the newscaster said that if you're a Florida resident, you send your child to another state so that they can do their transition, that the state of Florida can go to that state, apprehend that child, and bring it back to this state and put it into housing where they're going to do like conversion therapy on the kid and just cause them suicide. Anyway, I'm going to stop. I haven't been on here a long time, but I hear some of the. I do concerts, and I was verbally assaulted about 3 months ago, first time in my life, because I was transgender, and basically, you know, I'm looking at maybe doing another concert. I got all these bands and people want to do it, and I'm a little scared. And when I go out anymore, I always go to basically cis bars. I never had that paranoia that now it's like whatever. And I know I'm going on because we all need to wake up, is what I'm trying to say. This is not something you just kind of turn your head and go, because the more people that we share this with that do not understand that it's a big lie, and it's the lead to something that's going to be much worse than what the transgender community is dealing with. That's all. I'm done.
Okay. I have to say that, you know, I'm trying to keep positive, but I'll come to myself afterwards. Jimmy, you
Yes,
got
ma'am.
nice words for us, girl.
I try not to engage politics, but it looks like that's what we're talking about. The pendulum has swung pretty far.
Yes.
And me personally, I don't feel like I'm in anybody's crosshairs. But I understand those that do. And my heart kind of sinks down in my chest when I hear these stories. It's the only way that someone can understand the concept of someone being transgender is you are one.
Sure.
Just like I could never wrap my head around someone being an axe murderer. Just can't do it. But on the same token, I can't expect other politicians to understand the concept of what it is to be a transgender human being, because we are rare. And I just keep in mind that all these folks are temporary. These politicians that are making these laws are temporary. And I try to live my life in such a way that I try to vibrate above all this activity, because all this activity you kind of look at it as there's layers of existence. There's layers of existence. So if we elevate our existence to a higher level, life will unfold in such a way that somehow or another, magically, we don't find ourselves in these predicaments or these situations. Can't really explain how that happens, but somehow or another it does. And what I would suggest to folks is we all know that the news, the folks on the news, politicians have a tendency to exaggerate things. You know, if you want to learn about a law, you know, go to the government website and read the law yourself.
Correct.
And that, I think that'll clarify a lot of things. People hear something, and then it becomes an echo chamber, and then that whatever that statement was gets echoed again and again and again, and then there's results in hysteria. Whereas if you just go to the government website and read these proposals or these propositions, or if they are law, read them, and then you can learn for yourself exactly what's out there instead of the hyped up version. Because life is challenging right now. Life on the planet is challenging, and then you throw this wrench into the gears, it can trip a lot of folks up. So internal stability is now more necessary than ever in an unstable, in an uncertain world. Ella.
You're absolutely right. And I really have to tell something which is very much on my blood. Okay, sorry, I don't know what happened with Bonnie. She just faded away. I have to tell you something that it's really interesting. I have to put what's happening right now with us in Florida is becoming very visible all over the world. And you know, I've got more than one nationality, and I know many people all around the world, and I feel actually blessed by so many people which are saying, are you sure you want to stay in Florida? You can come and live with me. I could go now to Italy, I could go out to other countries too, because people have been so nice and tell me, you know, we know what you're going through and we support you. And it is in moments like this that I really feel absolutely blessed by that. On the other side, I have to say, I have no intention of leaving Florida. And why? Because I'm an American too. And it is my duty to fight what it's going for. Not fight in terms of, you know, weapons or whatever, but to be here and witness what's going on. And help my fellow people around here. Because I think that we are strong. We are determined, and it is, I'm sure, as Jimmy very well said, the pendulum will come back. It will not always stay there. It will come back. And it's only a question of time. To tell you the truth, I already think that the pendulum will probably come back faster than most of us think, because the people which are generating this chaos are having the chaos themselves now, because many people are not so supportive. And it's not only because of transgender people, it's because of transgender people, it's LGBT people, it is women's rights, it is so many rights which are trying to be taken away right now. And there are wars starting over with companies, as we see here in Florida. And, you know, we have many allies, believe me. Just today, I saw something really nice that Ford Motor Company made, because there is the LGBT Pride Month, made a special ad for LGBT. You see? And I mean, we know what the Disney's war will represent anyway, Disney against DeSantis. And, history comes back again. You know what? it's not the first time that we go through this. Many times in the history of the United States, people have tried to go against the LGBT community and against transgender people. And you know what? The diversity in America is big. I don't think that they will not win. They will simply will not win. So, do the best you can, be resilient. I know that Tampa Pride has been canceled, which is a shame.
What's been canceled?
Tampa Pride. There was a
Tampa.
pride in Tampa, yeah. They canceled it. Mainly the issue is, of course, with with the drag queens and everything. Now I heard that in Wilton Manors, everybody wants to come as a drag queen and a drag king. So, people are resilient,
I'm worried about, I hear that, but I also worry about the backlash of, because did Tampa cancel their pride due to like safety concerns?
They canceled their pride because of the drag queen shows. They could not
Oh,
have,
because of the, oh, okay.
and they had, thought of doing that, so.
Because
I
they
mean-
also just made it open carry is like just any it was like anybody could have a gun before in Florida. Now like anybody can have their gun and have it on them. They don't have to go through a licensing process to open carry.
It's not open
So
carry.
that
it's
freaks
concealed carry.
concealed carry. Yeah, that's what freaks me out is that people can just have their guns, and like gun violence has touched my life. You know what I mean? More than once. And so I it's a real fear that I have.
I was talking with a friend of mine, and she comes from New York, and she was telling, when you're driving in New York, you use your middle finger for everything, but here in Florida, you cannot do that.
Well, you get shot. You
Do
get
that.
shot.
So again, addressing what Lucas is talking about, there's a line in the Bible that says, what Job, what this is what Job, one of the sayings of Job, what I fear most has come upon me. So fear is real. Fear is real, but what we think about the most manifests. So the first thing we need to decide is, do we live in a friendly or hostile universe? And I chose to live in a friendly universe. And so therefore, with that thought, my life aligns in such a way that I'm in harmony with all things. And the Chinese call this the principle of Taoism, the principle of flow.
Sure.
And I strongly urge folks that are feeling anxiety and anxiousness about the current political climate, renew your faith one way or another. Have faith in yourself that we have what it takes and what's necessary to not only survive but thrive. And we spoke about earlier, Ella mentioned this also, the pendulum swung pretty far. And the only reason the pendulum wouldn't come back is if it detaches itself from the machine.
Yep.
And that's also a possibility. So, we need to be aware of the volatility of current situations. And the human mind is our greatest asset.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: we're all talking about all these experiences, A couple weeks ago, I've been back like 3 weeks now. I went on a cruise to the Caribbean, the U.S. Virgin Islands, on a cruise ship out of Miami with some friends, and it's very, very, very obvious that I'm a transgender person. Just my size, my stature, and I don't think I had to open a door one time on that ship, because it was always open for me. And the level of respect and courtesy was reassuring. And so what we look for, we find. I can't stress that enough. To be able to maintain positive thoughts in a negative world it's possible. It's possible. And that's my contribution to this group, is to try to inspire folks to be optimists, not pessimists. Ellen.
And I'd like to add something on that, Thorn, because don't forget, there's always action and reaction, and the reaction will come, or is it already starting to come from, suits? I mean, they're making, lawsuits against the state. That's one. And, never forget something else. Believe in the good things that will come. Medical, for example, there will be ways around it. I believe that the parents of trans kids are already starting suing the state for this kind of of action, that they can take the kids away. Don't always look at everything negative. There's always, if you've got a problem, you can solve it. Find a way to solve it. That's what we always do. I remember at the time I couldn't have medicine because, the doctors wouldn't give it to me. What did I do? I found my own medicines. There's ways, always a way. If you believe in it, if you fight for it, I work with different companies, my own companies. And you know what? Every day there's an issue. It's normal. If there is a day where there's no issue, then the day was not complete somehow. It was boring. And when you have the issue, what do you do? Well, you deal with it. You just deal with it. Same thing for yourself, because the biggest company that everybody has, it's oneself. And that's what one can tell what is going to happen to me, as Jimmy very well said. You want positivity, you attract positivity. You want negativity, well, you attract negativity too if you want. But isn't it something incredible that we have as transgender people, because we chose to be transgender people? Meaning not a choice, but we chose to be ourselves. And we know it. I've always been a woman. Well, I was born in the wrong body, but the choice is not in changing the gender. The choice is in being yourself. And I'm glad I took that choice, and I didn't follow in pain in the back of some other kind of things for the rest of my life. That is what I think. But we always find a way. We always find a way. In the beginning, when you have to cross a mountain, you have to go step by step. And the mountain is big, and you see the huge mountain, and you don't know how to get to the other side. But you always have to go step by step, and then you find a way. This is what I think is the right thing. What we're doing is right. We are positive people. Stay positive. Work hard. Find your fears, because you know what? That's how we get along. That's how we become better. You know, when I was very young, I was very scared of flying. I've made more than, I don't know, 4 or 5 million miles in flight. I've made many miles in flight, believe me. But when I was young, I was scared. So you know what I did? I went to a Cessna school and I learned how to fly myself. Because like that, I know what, you know, what it is. Unfortunately, I lost my license because I didn't do it often enough. I would love to renew it again. Jimmy, she's a flyer too, anyway. I know that.
And Ella, we all need to hear what you just said, including myself. And this is how I look at it. Again, let's talk. I refer often to Chinese principles, the yin and the yang, up and down, left, right, hot, cold, in, out, problem, solution. If there is a problem, there has to be a solution.
Absolutely.
Has to be. There has to be. And when we react to situations, a reaction is a different mindset than a response. So if we, I used this example in one of our videos a couple years ago, where if someone if someone throws you a punch to try to hit you, and then you throw a punch back, that's a reaction. But if someone goes to punch you and you just make a movement to deflect their punch and step to the side, deflect their punch, and then their momentum, they fall to the ground and you just step aside. That's a response. So learn the difference between a reaction and a response. A responsive mind will usually be in a position to cultivate a solution. A reactive mind is going to get your blood pressure up. Your hairs are going to turn gray by the thousands, and you're going to meet force with force. So the idea is to try to train your mind to be responsive to situations, not reactive. Learn the difference. It's huge. A response is very efficient, doesn't burn a lot of calories or energy. It doesn't create as much maybe any collateral damage, where a reaction is very inefficient, takes a lot of calories, and usually creates a certain amount of collateral damage.
Correct.
And like what Ella was talking about, there's always a way, always.
Yeah. Lucas, do you have anything to add, sir?
Yeah, I don't know. I hesitate because I have seen how toxic positivity has poisoned the school well with how we treat our teachers. With, you can just get through it. You'll be fine. It'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine. And it's like, wait, I think of that meme of the dog and the house is on fire and he's sipping a cup of coffee and he's like, this is fine, right? Like, there has to be a balance between protecting your mental health and wanting to put out positivity, but also not putting your head in the sand and saying that things aren't happening that are happening. It's like, I can say that I radiate positivity, but if I walk down an alley at night at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm unprotected, I could get hurt. I can be as positive as I want to be. There are bad people in the world who do bad things. You could get hurt. You could be doing the right thing. Listen, the girl that I love so much, Daniela, was doing the right thing. She drove someone who was drunk home that she knew, and the bitch still had a gun and shot her in the head for some reason. Sorry, I cussed. I don't know if we're allowed to cuss. I didn't mean to, but it hits home for me. So, you know, like, you can't say, there's something to be said for bad things can just happen, right? But you also, you know, there's something to be said for if you put yourself in certain positions or you don't fight for things to be the way that they should be, and you don't acknowledge, like, as long as I have to be here, I don't want to be here for very much longer. I'm trying to move out of Florida, but as long as I'm here, I plan on fighting like hell.
Sure.
Because it's not fair. I see it already affecting. There are 2 trans students at my school that it's already affecting. Like I said, I have friends who are having trouble accessing their hormones. You know, there's a way, but what's happening right now is making it 1,000 times more difficult and making it so that I heard in Canada, they're trying to pass a law that if you live in a state like Florida or Texas, you can seek refuge you'll be able to seek refuge in Canada.
It's already there. It's already there.
It's already in practice. Yeah, because that was one of the places I was looking
America
at.
too.
Because I kind of don't even want to be in this country at this point. Like, it's not even about states. It's about, because it spreads.
Yeah, but in some states here in America too, that they will welcome people which are transgender in the state.
Yeah, Minnesota.
So many
I think.
people are leaving Florida right now, and I don't think many people. I mean, there's been such a lot of awareness, about Florida, that it is a dangerous place.
Yeah.
From Equality Florida and so on. But I don't know. We'll see. But I to a point that you said, which is very important. Being positive doesn't mean that you have to do only stupid things,
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that.
I would like to expand on what Lucas is talking about. So
Go ahead.
I don't know how old Lucas is, and it doesn't matter, but I remember in my younger days, I was a human bulldozer, and I would get things done just by sheer horsepower, and I would feel threatened, or I didn't have the worldly experience of having many years on the planet. So I got things done just by sheer horsepower, a human bulldozer. And I was very successful and still am. But now, as a mature adult with many years of experience on the planet and having a sense of understanding of how things go, that can only be learned by repeated experience of events. Now I am a feather in the wind, and I trust that the wind is going to blow my feather where it needs to go. And this is a very efficient way to live. And so I respect Lucas's position as a young man, without the decades of worldly experience of having. I remember in business many years ago, I was sued by someone, and this was right when my baby was born, and this is 33 years ago, and I couldn't sleep at night. I wanted to kill this person, and the lawyer that I hired, as it turns out, is my family lawyer still to this day. So, and now if someone wants to sue me, I'm like, okay, go for it. And so you have to experience these life circumstances that will strengthen your resolve. There's only way to get resolve, and that's by being in a position where you're very uncomfortable, and after time we get comfortable with uncomfortable, because the only way we're going to grow is if we find ourselves in uncomfortable situations. And it's not that we get comfortable with comfortable, it's that our comfort zone expands, our level of resolve expands. And I'm not suggesting that we tolerate or accept some of these things that are occurring, but you kind of figure out a way, like Ella said, around some of this stuff. and I'll use this example. My brother-in-law was a lieutenant with the Broward County Fire Department, and they would build these new fire stations and have computer-controlled air conditioner thermostats on the wall set at like 78 or something like that. And these guys would come back from the fire, and the firehouse is, you know, it's comfortable, but it's 78's a little hot. So they would get a light bulb, like a lamp, put the lamp right next to the thermostat, so it would heat up the area next to the thermostat, and it would kick on the air conditioner in the firehouse. So the computer downtown didn't realize that it was a lamp next to the thermostat heating it up. So that's just one example. You just gotta, like, that's a response. So a reaction would have been, you know, I'm gonna off the wall, and or you get the lamp and put it next to it, and it thinks it's hot, and it cools you down. So there's that's why I'm saying the importance of a responsive mind. Respond to situations, don't react. There's a huge difference, huge. And again, to some of the younger folks out there, when Ella and I were growing up, there wasn't even the concept of being transgender. There wasn't even a concept. It wasn't even an idea. And we all survived. We're here, and we're stronger for it. So don't think that this younger group of folks are the only ones who have experienced political hardship. We all have, and the fact that Ella and I and Bonnie and countless others are still here and thriving is proof that not only can you survive, you can thrive, and you become a better person for it. The most difficult roads lead to the grandest of destinations. The harder we got to fight and work for something, the more meaning it has in our life. Ella.
I give you an example. When I was young, and exactly what you're telling. When I was young, that means about almost in the 90s, you know, many years ago. I wanted to have hormones, okay? And of course, I went to the doctor, and he refused me to give hormones. And I knew that I couldn't live without them. So what did I do? I had a wonderful idea. That was not the only one, because, you know, I knew other people which did the same thing. I would buy, you know, pill for pregnancy pills, black market. At that time was Diane 35, because Diane 35 had some, you know, it was really good for us. And that's how I got my hormones for many years. Bit dangerous, I have to say that, because
I was gonna say that's a little dangerous to do it black market. That's
without doctor is dangerous. It's true.
Yeah.
But I survived, and you know, don't never forget, legislation is not here to protect you. Is here actually to go against you, because you as a survivor will do something to get over it.
There's also something to be said for you guys survived, we survived. There are countless who didn't, and we don't get to hear from them.
Absolutely. That's true. That is absolutely true. But, you know, I do believe that our government should try to support people and not go against people. It's like abortion, okay? Throughout many, many years, it was illegal to have abortions. Did it stop abortion? No, it didn't.
Made them significantly less safe, and people died because of it.
Correct. And the abortion pills today, anyway, it's probably not even for abortion. It's for other problems that some women have, you know. Miscarriages. I mean, I lived many, many years in Switzerland. In Switzerland, if you've got, for example, kids with big issues like Down disease or something like that, or Down syndrome, and they know before they come to the doctor is the one which said, you know what, you should probably have an abortion because your kid is not going to be okay. Of course, it's always the choice of the mothers. But, you know, if you've got a miscarriage and you have to forcibly carry the miscarriage and have, I don't know, many issues, even probably death, that is terrible.
Yeah.
So by doing these laws, they are not protecting the people, they are going against the people. Never forget that, because people find ways out of it, always did. If you want something, you'll get it.
Some of us, there's also privilege comes into play, right? Like there are people who can't transition with hormones because they can't afford it. Like I recognize all the time I have a lot of privilege. I have privilege in being transmasculine because testosterone does a lot for the body, but also privilege in that when I came out, it wasn't a question of if we have the money to do this. It was what my family, my mom mostly, was what do we need to do to make you better, to make you whole? What do we need? But not everybody has that. You know what I mean? I sitting in my transmass group at Sunserve, and they were talking about, people talking about parents kicking them out and disowning them, family members disowning them. And the other thing that was big for me was, the conversation where all the transmass white guys talking about, male privilege, and all the transmass guys of color are like, we have had an extremely opposite experience. You know what I mean? So there's just like, it's a lot of moving parts that come into play. So it's really, I don't know. I don't want to, I'm someone who struggles with anxiety. I'm medicated for depression, bipolar, and anxiety. So I'm prone to feeling this way. But with everything that's going on, it's hard to look the other way and act like nothing is happening, or act like it would, we'll find a way, we'll find a way. For some of these kids, their way is getting out of Florida. For some of these kids, it means getting out. And for some people, it means getting out of the country. Like the museum of the Holocaust Museum put out 10 points of like, just to not have another Holocaust, to stop it from. We're at 0.8 on the LGBT community. That's what they just put out. That museum just put out. We're on the 8th step. That's 2 more steps till genocide.
Terrible. Anyway, on a positive note, that there's some states, I think it was Minnesota, which said that if a trans kid is not respected by the parents, they would be able to support a trans kid. It's crazy. It's the opposite of here. So it's just crazy. It is just crazy.
What scares me is the laws that allow Florida to extradite and grab the kids from those other places and bring them back. Like, that freaks me out.
Conversion.
And I don't know how that's even legal in this country.
No, it's not. Anyway, many things which are not legal, like, for example, the doctors can not treat you because of their religious beliefs or whatever.
Yeah, how is that?
It goes against the laws of being a doctor.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is if you get into a car accident now in this state and the EMT notices that you're transgender, they can refuse to, and it's already happened. I don't know, not in Florida, somewhere else where they passed a similar law. Trans woman of color bled out because the EMT was like, no, I don't agree with that.
Anyway, okay, let's hope things get better around here, and shall I go for the last round? Lucas, you go ahead. What do you have beautiful to tell today?
Beautiful to tell today. Well, to me, it's beautiful that today was my last day of work, because it's just good for me to get out of that environment and constant anxiety. But I think the thing that gives me the most hope for the state of Florida is how hard Disney is fighting against it. And Disney, at the end of the day, in a capitalistic society, money talks, and Disney's got a lot of money. So I have hope in that direction that if anything, the money of it all will start to fix some of these problems, you know?
And I don't think they will be the only ones. Anyway, there are going to be other companies too, believe me. Anyway, this just launched a Disney Pride apparel, you know, so clothing. So you can buy some Disney Pride clothing with even transgender flags. So
Oh, nice.
I love it.
Let me get the ears. Let me get the ears.
Correct. Jimmy,
Yes, ma'am.
what you'd like to finish up with?
The uniqueness of transgender people, and I think as I evolved from a caterpillar to a butterfly, my spirituality has soared, because now my spirit walks the planet in human form. And this level of self-actualization is scary to a lot of people, including politicians. And being a transgender person and keenly aware of what it likes to be trans, when I hear some of the folks on the news or the politicians speaking in a negative way about transgender people, it's just they're expressing their ignorance.
No.
None of them have ever talked to me. And I think once they would, maybe they would have a different idea or an opinion or a different position. And so because of the uniqueness and rarity of transgender people, that in itself makes us more valuable. And we have a unique purpose in our society. And that purpose is to walk the planet in a self-actualized way, as an example to others that can also self-actualize. And I'm not talking everyone, you know, transgender people, just anybody. Be who you are. Be who you are. And that is intimidating to a lot of people. And I think about this often, like, you know, there could be some sort of, I remember Lucas talked about the Sunserve meetings, which I used to go to those all the time. And we were in one of these meetings with the transgender girls, and there were trans guys. And there was a person there that was expressing a certain amount of rejection from their parents. And this person was talking about paramedics also. And I said to this person, you know what? One of these days you're going to get a phone call, I mean, a radio call in your ambulance to go to an accident scene, and it's going to be the governor or the senator or something, and you're going to rescue and save this person. And then it's going to be all over the news that transgender paramedic saves politician. And so something's going to happen. I can't tell you what, but something's going to happen where a transgender person is going to save the day. And I think this quite often in my own dealings with life, in that we are so rare. There has to be a purpose. There has to be a purpose for us, or else why are we here? We're more than just the universe expressing itself in human form. there's a reason we're here. And I think the day will come that the entire world will see the magic or the capabilities of transgender people. Because like what Lucas was talking about, the road's not easy. And there's a lot of stones being thrown. And to emerge from the other side victorious creates a human that cannot be created any other way, with that word resolve. I love that word, because someone who's got resolve. Resourcefulness is the greatest resource. Resourcefulness is the greatest resource. And I'll end with this. The world will step aside and let anyone pass. Just know where you're going. And I love you all.
Thank you very much. What shall I say? My last words are very simple. Do not despair. Take every day at a time. Because, yeah, think positive. Make the world come to you. Don't take risks. You don't have to take risks. If you want to, wonderful, but just calculate them. But think positive, and the world will come to you. We've been here as transgender people for thousands of years. Do you think that one guy in Tallahassee is going to stop us? Come on. That should be a joke. No, we will survive, and we will be even better. Okay, with these words, I would like to invite everybody to go and visit us on our Trans Guru site. So in Facebook, we post every day there, quite a lot of posts. So we make the live shows will be now in YouTube, but we'll put a copy of here in Facebook as well. And with those words, we've got another group in what do you call that, in Facebook, which is called Trans Gurus and Friends. So it's not a page, it's a group, so you have to be let in. Okay, love you all. Thank you for watching. It is the first time here now as a live, but we'll come regularly. We hope to do it either Wednesday or Thursday. Some people wanted to do it on Thursday, but I think most people want to do it on Wednesday. So it's always at the same time, 6 p.m. Eastern time for the United States. So thanks a lot, and bye, everybody. Bye.
Namaste.